Hello students, this is Kuntal Chakraborty and today's issue is US and India, US India Indo-US relation, and today we'll discuss this issue in the light of the recent developments after the announcement of the Trump. I mean the Trump's announcement of this 25% of tariff with additional 10%, that means 35% tariff is going to be imposed on India's export to US. Okay, and from this announcement, you can understand that they don't want to, which I can say, want to continue this trade relationship any longer, okay, any further. So this is the main issue why they don't want to continue it. This is the one question, and another important question is after the breakup, if this happens, and after its breakup, the relationship, what India would face or how to tackle those things. Actually, there's the problem, pressure, okay, economic pressure which is going to come. So this is the main topic. Okay, so today we are going to discuss this topic from that aspect, and I will keep my discussion or do this discussion from the point of view of our examination, that is miscellaneous examination, which is upcoming examination. Okay, and finally, if you see the question, I mean a question, okay, from this point, sorry, from this issue in your paper, what could it be look like? So that is also important factor. So I have already chosen a question. You can see it on your screen. The US's tariffs on India has cast a shadow over the trade and strategic partnership between B/W means between. Okay, I have used some short forms. Okay, between the two countries, critically examine 250 words. Just ignore this 250 words. It is just written there. I have written it over there because I was thinking to write it in 250 words, but finally I understood when I realized that there is no such word limits. Okay, put from UPSC, okay, by UPSC in case of miscellaneous. So then I actually extended the answer, okay, and it is now a 5-page long answer. And I have kept in mind that if you just read this 5-page long answer and you just can memorize 50%, yes, I mean everything is not to memorize. If you just can memorize the 50% points of this note, I think you will have a lot of further points to write a good answer, miscellaneous examination. And if you want, you can also collect other points from other various sources. Okay, a lot of talks are going on in many TV channels. There are a lot of which is called answers, okay, available on YouTube or internet. Okay, you can go and collect them from them too. So now first we have to answer this question, but first we have to understand that what should be the body and the structure of this answer, because we have to write a well structured answer now. So actually we have 4 points to understand. Okay, first we should have a good introduction. In the introduction, here I have written the importance of the US and India relationship, the areas on which these two countries have worked together jointly, and they have taken also a lot of ventures, okay, jointly in this some aspects of international issues. Okay, so this is also important to understand. I mean, you have to understand those things as well. So in the introduction I have mentioned those things. Okay, after that I went to the body. In the body I have written why Trump has taken this decision. I mean, what has made him to take this decision. Okay, so this is the most important thing as well. After that, what are the implications, major implications, negative implications for India, and what are the problems India is going to face after this decision or for this decision of Trump. And the last part is the solution. Okay, what could be the most probable, most expected solution. So these are the 4 major parts of this answer. So I'm going to read it to you and I will explain in between. Okay, so the first line says India and US, the two massive democracies in the past, have come forward. In the past have come forward. In the past means aage. In the past have come forward in various occasions and made ties. Okay, so you have seen India and US making ties. Okay. Related to many issues, strategic issues, economic issues, geopolitical issues. Okay, we have seen it. So sometimes the subject matter was straight, sometimes it was one it is missing actually there, you have to put a it there. Okay, sometimes it was to stabilize, or it was in regard to stabilize the tension in the Indo-Pacific region, sometimes defense, pact, and many more. Okay, Then India is the biggest procurer of USS, defense materials and military equipment. So why this India is important? Okay, from their perspective, that is to be mentioned also, because if you don't, if you just say keep on saying that India, US is important to India, that is not actually a very, you can say, logical thing, because a defense, sorry, any good relationship is built upon, especially when it is international relation, on a mutual benefit point of view. Okay, so that means if the US is not getting any benefit from this pact, that means it will not, it will definitely not continue this pact, okay, or this relationship. So you have to also show that why India is also a beneficial country for US. Okay, so these two things are very important and they go hand in hand. So you have to show both the things together. Okay, otherwise it will not. It is called. Will be reasonable actually. Okay, so you have to say both the things together. So India is the biggest procurer of US's defense materials and military equipment. So India procures a lot of defense materials from US. So this is basically a, you can say, a benefiting point or benefiting aspect for US, because they can sell, they have a good market for their defense materials, the defense which is called arsenals, etc. And we need them actually. Why? Because recently we have seen the war between India and Pakistan, and we have two important you can say foes, enemies. Okay, Pakistan on one side, another one is China. So to tackle both these enemies, we have the requirement of lot of defense and high-tech defense requirements, armaments, okay, material. So US is a good supplier, okay, in this regard, and we have Russia too, and this is the main reason of the conflict between US and India, present conflict. Okay, so on this front too, they have close security ties. Okay, so from business and investments point of view, now I am going to see this defense, this relationship from, I have already seen it from defense pact or defense side. Okay, now I am going to see it from the point of view of business and investment, etc. Here you can see that from business and investments point of view, US is the biggest source of incoming FDI to India. FDI means, FDI means a foreign direct investment. So India, we know that there are a lot of conglomerates, I mean giants, tech giants, etc., or you can say software companies, okay, industries, US based industries, they want to capture the Indian markets. Okay, they want to establish their farms in India. Okay, because India is a great market, 1.5 billion people lives there, so it is a great market, great demands are there in India. So population is very high, it is the now most populous country in the world right now. We have already crossed China, so everybody wants to capture this market. So this is actually their focus. Okay, so therefore they send a lot of direct investment, foreign direct investment to India. Okay, so that's why US gets a lot of benefit from this market. So even after getting this market, okay, yet they get a lot of benefit from this market, still they want to shade, or they want to go out from this relationship. But it is we don't know actually, we have to analyze that why it is happening so. Okay, so of incoming FDI to India, and similarly the Indians who are part of US diaspora, and also who are living in US on working visa, have made lots of contributions in the making of the US Silicon Valley and the stature of its software and IT industry. So you know that, and we all know that US is the big, the giant nation in the world. Okay, in terms of its IT industry and in terms of software companies. Okay, so we know that. So here the point is that there are a lot of people actually have gone to US and they have made contributions, okay, in the making of those IT industries and Silicon Valley. And the US should not deny this fact. Okay, US cannot deny this fact rather. Okay, because we have they have Indian CEOs in multiple big companies like Google. We have Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google. We have Satyam Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. Okay, so it shows that how Indian skilled workers, skilled engineers, IT professionals are important to US, because they make a lot of contribution to in the growth of their IT industries and these software industries. Okay, so that's why from that aspect too, Indians are very important. So here I am trying to show the mutual importance, mutual benefits rather for both the countries from these ties or from this relationship. Okay, and in the next para we'll try to see, even after having these mutual benefits, why, I mean, what is it that makes US to take this kind of we can say disastrous decision. Okay, so they want to put 35% of tariff on Indian which is called exports, and when it is done, actually it means basically that they don't want to continue this business relationship, and it is going to cause huge damage to India's traders, I mean especially the exporters, and will affect the entire Indian economic market. Okay, Sensex, Nifty, everything will go down. We have already seen that it has, I mean this share market has very badly responded to that, okay, by lowering down the Sensex and Nifty which is called indexes. Okay, so these all everything will be discussed in the next page. So I'm going to the next page. So now the next page, the next page, we have come to the next page. Now here we can see in the first line, now in this juncture when both the countries are having the fruits of the warm relationship, Trump's decision to impose 25% of tariff with additional 10% has on the Indian export, okay, sorry, additional 10% on the Indian export has come to India as an unexpected blow. It is quite obvious, you can understand it. Okay, this 35% of tariff means what? Suppose a pen, suppose this pen, okay, if it is its price is 10 rupees in US, it is not rupees, actually it will be in terms of dollar, but I am assuming it for the sake of our benefit or our convenience. Okay, so just assume that it is 10 rupees in US. Okay, now if you put extra 35% tariff on it, then that means it will be 13.5%, sorry, 13.5 rupees in US market. And you know that when price goes up, demand goes down. It's a very normal equation in economics. So the higher the price means the lower the demand. That means the exporters who are now exporting to US, their products will not be demanded any further or any longer. Okay, so what will they do? This is a very important thing, and this is actually problem for us. So this kind of economic pressure, it is actually a habit of America. Whenever they think that people are not listening to him or they are not following their dictates or decisions, etc., they do this kind of sanctions or this kind of economic pressure. They are actually habituated, are used to it. This, okay. But they have to keep in mind that India is a sovereign country. India has its own rights to decide its own decisions. Okay, its own internally and externally from both sides. India is free to take its own economic, political, social, cultural, every aspect. I mean, all decisions India is free to take. So in this juncture, in this situation now, after when India is a sovereign country, if Trump thinks that India will follow or do whatever he says to Modi, he is actually in the he actually in a bad dream most probably. Okay, so he should come out of it. And I think that our government will not do it. And previously we have seen that when India was in war with Pakistan, suddenly Modi ji came out, sorry, not Modi ji, Trump came out with the declaration of that truce most probably. Okay, so there was a ceasefire declared by Trump, and that declaration and from a third party like US actually was made India feel very low in the international arena. Okay, so that was the problem. So I'm not going to that. In America actually thinks sometimes that they are the big dada. They are enjoying, you can say, the hegemony. Actually, it is called American hegemony, you can say. So they think that they're still enjoying the hegemony, but I am not going to that. This is a very deep issues of international relations. I am not a international relations student. Okay, I can't handle those things. Okay, so it is basically a basic and current affairs based question. So I am going to let us see what is written there. The basic objection of Trump is our close relationship with Russia. India and Russia has been enjoying a close defense and trade relationship since India's independence. Now, the problem is that we know we all are familiar with the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, and now India is buying lot of almost 66%, most probably two-thirds of its total oil demands. India is now buying those oils from Russia, okay, and also some defense materials, okay. So now the US, I mean, this Trump actually considered that relationship or the procurement as the financing tool to this Russia in this war process, okay. It is their belief that India is actually doing this. India is trying to help Russia in this war against US, sorry, against Ukraine. What is annoying to Trump? Okay, so just tell me one thing. If India need, okay, if India needs the oil, what India can do? It has to procure. It will try to find out the most suitable prices for it, na? And if it gets any reasonable price, okay, it will definitely procure the oil from them. And America would have done the same thing actually if it had been in India's place. Okay, because America had a history of doing that thing. It did a lot of things in we know that in that Central Asia region, okay, in Gulf region, it has done a lot of disastrous things. Okay, so I'm not doing that because that is not today's issue. So this is the, I mean, mental makeup, you can say, of the mentality of Trump. They want India to act on their dictation. Okay, it's not possible. Now they want us to withdraw or come out from that relationship. They want us to stop that purchasing or procurement. Okay, it's not possible. So I have written here that, and defense materials, India procures since India's independence, India procures Russia's oils and defense materials, and this is annoying to Trump, okay, because according to him, by purchasing Russia's products, India is financing or funding, let's say, Russia's ongoing war efforts with Ukraine. So from this point of view, India is financing this Ukraine-Russia war with an aim to benefit Russia. Okay, this is not actually completely lie. Actually, it's not true from any aspect. But it is their belief. Let them believe whatever they want. We are going to next page. So in the third page, on the other side, US wants India to lift off the subsidies what India provides to its farmers. Look, we provide subsidies to our farmer. Why? Because our farmers are poor. We cannot afford to actually leave them open to the international or expose them to the international forum. Why? Because we know that the so-called West countries, the farmers of so-called Western countries are very rich. They have well mechanized farm. They can produce things with cheaper rate. Why? Because they are well mechanized. Now lots of minimum farmers actually are involved in farming. Okay, and they produce maximum things because of their high mechanized farming culture. So therefore they can come out with products with lower or cheaper rates. Okay, but India cannot do that. Why? Because a lot of people are involved in agriculture in our country, and they are poor. They are actually cannot do. You can understand it because they are poor, and just try to think that about 15 or 16% of about 48 or 49% of farmers actually, I mean people, are involved and in farming, and they are producing almost 15 to 14 to 15% of GDP. That means what? That means this 50 rupees is distributed over these 50 people. Now 15 rupees is distributed over 50 people. That's why they are the obvious consequences that is being poor. So therefore our farmers are poor. They cannot produce things with lower cheaper rate, and we are all familiar with the thing that we have disguised unemployment in our farming agriculture sector. Okay, so these are the some problems. Therefore our farmers requires our subsidies. We have to give subsidies for seeds, we have to give subsidies for which is called fertilizers, we have to give subsidies for the pesticide, etc. And also agriculture market is not very sound here. There are chances that sometimes they get cheated on, okay, by the which is called middleman. Okay, so our farmers are very vulnerable now. That's why we cannot expose them. We cannot leave them being exposed to the international market. It's not possible for us now. In this situation, or to handle the situation, we need to protect them rather. As a shield, we provide them these subsidies. Now US wants us to, the government of India to lift off or to withdraw those subsidies. Not possible. So this is also a reason for the annoyance of Trump. Okay, so now in the same time writing, now we have to understand the possible impacts India could receive and the best solutions to them. According to Bank of Baroda, the growth rate of India's GDP might get a hard hit and might be reduced by 0.2%. So previously the GDP was this so is not required in this line. Okay, if you can want, you can cross it out. So previously the GDP was projected to be 6.6% for the next financial year, and now the expected growth rate has been 6.4%. Okay, that means a sharp decline of 0.2%. Okay, why? Because of that decision of Trump, because it is going to hit our Indian economy and it will impact in that way, on this way. So this is the actual now the probable consequence we are going to face. Now 6.6% for the next financial year, and now the expected growth rate has been 6.4%. Okay, some other experts have been gone a little far by saying that the number of these downfall might range between 0.3% to 0.4%. So some which is called economic experts anticipates that it could be between 0.3 to 0.4%. That means they are projecting a higher value of decline. So it is also a reason of our headache. Let's see what we can do. On the other side, a major apprehension is that there are some labor intensive sectors like garments, textiles, gems and jewelry, auto parts, leather, etc., which are heavily dependent on US's domestic demand. These sectors may face slowdown, recession and eventually massive laying offs too. So what is laying off? Laying off means firing. So when a sector, particularly sector like garment, etc., they face a lot of recession, and they face that their products are not being sold in the market, they try to shed or downsize their labor force. Okay, so they actually fire people. Okay, this thing actually is called layoff in economic markets. I have used this word, layoff. The greatest problem is that there are many MSMEs in India which deals in those products. Okay, so we know that in industrial sector, in our industrial sector especially, lot of MSMEs are actually they are operating and their businesses. So the main problem is that the sectors I have mentioned right before, which are heavily dependent on US, we are a lot of MSMEs are involved in those sectors. They are working or they are dealing in those sectors. Okay, so this is the main important thing, or the main important, you can say, the cause of being apprehended. So what can I do, or what could I do in the future? We'll see in the next page. Okay, so here I have written that in this scenario, if finally US goes with the 35% hike in tariff rate, there is a possibility that the probable vacuum created by the absence of India's products might attract products of other India's competitors like Vietnam, South Korea, Indonesia, etc. Look, the sectors which has sectors of India actually, which has a lot of demands from US. I mean, the products from of those sectors have a lot of demands actually from US. Now US is going to impose high tariffs on those products. What will happen? Definitely the importers of US will not import those materials from India, and there will be a vacuum, okay, created after that this decision, and after that those vacuums will be definitely fulfilled by the other competitors. I mean, the other product, the same product, the competitors who are actually producing the same thing. Okay, and there are some competitors, I have named some of those competitors like Vietnam, South Korea, Indonesia. They are the main competitors in this regard. Okay, they produce this kind of things, and they also produce things in cheaper rates, so probably they are going to fill those vacuum. So there could be a permanent, or more correctly to say, a long lasting damage to India's trade relations with US. The US is missing here, you have to put US there. Okay, somehow it is missed. So in the second part, I am saying the other reason cited by US administration behind these incense steps is it should have been incense step. Incense step is the subsidy what India provides to its farmers. India, though it is trying hardest to reduce its over dependence on agriculture, is still a agriculture based economy. Agriculture is the pillar of India's economy. I have actually left a gap there. You have to fulfill this gap with the recent data. economy, a certain percentage of GDP comes from agriculture and a certain percentage of total workforce are involved. Okay, that means we have to write there the recent data that how much of total GDP comes from agriculture and how many percent, I mean the percentage of total workforce involved in agriculture. These two things you have to collect from internet and write them, put there. Okay. Now you have to see one thing I have written in the first line or second line of this para. The other reason cited by US administration behind this insane step is the subsidy what India provides to its farmers. India, though it's trying its hardest to reduce its over dependence, okay, on agriculture, is still a agriculture based economy. The problem is, what is the problem? The problem is that they want us to reduce those subsidies, okay, but India is also trying that. Okay, it's not that India not trying. India is also trying. But the problem is that the situation is not permitting India to go and take that kind of drastic decision, just trying to reduce that subsidies, because our dependence, our economies now, I mean, still it is actually depending on agriculture, no, our economy. So we cannot go and just suddenly or at once we cannot lift them off. It is not possible for India. Okay, so you have to move step by step, slow and gradually, steadily. Okay, this is actually the most rational step actually. Okay, so this is the important thing. Workforce are involved in agriculture. So here the agriculture subsidy plays a crucial role. It is because of these subsidies our farm products can keep a reasonable price of its products in the international market. Because of this lower price, our products can compete with the international products actually. Okay, so I have written this thing in my next page. Let me show it. So in the first line I am writing Western products, and the agricultural sectors of West and of so-called first world countries are way more well mechanized than ours. As a result, their productivity and quality of products are also unmatched relative to India. Hence, lifting off those subsidies could prove to be a disaster for Indian agriculture. Indian agriculture, it should have been Indian agriculture. Okay, I have missed that in. For Indian agriculture. Therefore, India, at least for the time being, cannot pay attention to this demand of Trump. So, we cannot go actually with Trump right now, because our subsidies, I mean, our agriculture is not so robust that we can, or it can allow us to lift off those or withdraw those subsidies. Okay, we cannot do that. So, what is the way out? What is the way around what India can do, or what is the best possible solution? You have to give some suggestion ultimately. So hence we have to realize that the probable solution maybe is hence we have to realize that the probable solution maybe is lying in somewhere else. Both the countries, keeping in view their past legacy of cooperation, economic as well as strategic sector, should come forward to enter a most fitting solution pact, and side by side the US must retract. Retract means withdrawing something. Okay, you are pulling something back means retract its move. Move means this decision. Okay, for the smooth continuation of this age-old relationship. So this is the basic suggestion you have to put. Ultimately, you have to give some suggestion, because it is a kind of administrative job. They always expect some suggestions from you, so you have to give it. So this is how you can give or write a structured note and answer. And if you want, you can also collect some information from internet. Okay, there are a lot of information going around, and you can put them wherever you think it is actually fitting. You can do that. Okay, so it's up to you. And this is what the answer, and this is how we can write an answer, good answer. I think if you can write this much, I will get at least 60 to 65% definitely. And that's it. And I'm going to end this video here. I will come up with a new video in my next topic in my next video. And stay tuned, be with me, and very thank you if you have watched this video till now. Thank you.